Only an idiot, or an insensitive clod will walk all over the hurting hearts of poor souls that groan in misery. But it remains true. This is true. Some pain can't be removed. And as the old-timers used to say, what can't be cured must be endured. But you know, a lot of our pain exists. A lot of it exists because we love people with all our hearts. And unless we get a lobotomy, the price for the privilege of loving and losing, either by death or some other death-like experience, the privilege of loving and losing is paid for by grievous pain. A husband or a wife that dies, a child that is killed, someone who's often hurts themselves, the loss of a business that you spent all your life building, an honest island in a sea of corruption. All of those things generate in us serious pain. And when the pain is maddening, we cry out. And it's perfectly understandable that we should. We cry out and ask, why? You might remember in the movie The Man in the Iron Mask, based on Alexander Dumas' rivetingly good book. You might remember that a man is grabbed by the authorities. He's taken against his will to a secluded island, taken to the deepest dungeon in the prison that's on that island, and an iron mask is fitted over his face. Nobody speaks to him. Nobody tells him why. Nobody answers his questions or responds in any shape or form to his protests. He's left in the dungeon. The jailer's forbidden on pain of death to even speak to him. And through a barred window, he watches the assault team that grabbed him, watches it roll away. And in an awful, heart-wrenching cry that echoes in his dungeon and out across the water to the cold-hearted men in the boat, he howls, why? Why? Just to make sense of it. That'd ease the pain. Hearts are the same in real life as they are in profoundly good fiction. Profoundly good fiction is precisely that, because it touches on the depths of the human heart in a way that we all recognize. When a hurting soul lifts his or her eyes to heaven and mournfully asks, why? That soul is being authentically human. This is human to the core. But this is clear. Even if it's possible they offer reasonable part explanations, even if it's possible to offer an underlying ground for trust where knowledge fails us. It's clear that the hurting heart is not prepared to accept answers. Yes, I know there are exceptions to that, yes. But across the board, it isn't answers, even good answers, that they want. The shattered heart wants the devastation undone. In their awful pain, they don't want to hear that there are good reasons why the awful pain should have begun or that it should continue. They want it stopped. It doesn't matter that God wants it to go on. It doesn't matter that God allows it to go on or that it suits Him for it to go on. It doesn't matter that wondrous things are happening in and through and beyond the pain. Make it stop. That's what the sufferer wants. And you know very well why that's so. Tell me this then. Tell me this. Why does any truly suffering Christian remain faithful to God? Tell me why.